What are we doing?
Right, we're facing a blank page, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So with your pens that you brought with you, and I will use this tin that represents things you might commonly have around the house, not specialist art materials, biros, pencils and so on.
I've got brightly coloured pens.
Yeah.
That's my
just,
vibe.
Just pick one, don't think about it too much,
Not that one.
and just start making marks.
Okay.
And whatever mark it is, just ask yourself, well, what's this good for? Does it make sort of nice flowing lines?
There's a shadow on my page that I sort of want to
Maybe you have to try chase the shadow, see if you
draw
can catch it.
Looks a bit like a flower.
Yeah.
It's actually a mic thing.
Can you make different kinds of marks with that one implement? Just by applying more or less pressure? Mine's run out.
That's a good start.
Try using it in an unconventional way, like the top, holding it at the very end so you haven't got any control. Try your left hand.
I'm going left hand and top.
Which I'm not going to do because I've got a mic in my left hand.
Drag it around.
This is really just a stream. It's not even a stream of consciousness. It's just automatic drawing, if you like.
I'm not even looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Just looking at you instead.
Closed eyes is quite good. And just keep going and keep trying out all the materials you might have around the house. So I've got an ordinary pencil here. How could I use that? I can use it on its side. I can use it conventionally.
And that colour
gives a completely different mark from the previous one, doesn't it?
Yeah, have I got one that would be like a different...
It's quite good fun if you're able to work on the same page as well as someone else, because I can kind of interact with your marks and you do the same with mine. We did a workshop years ago with about 10 people. It wasn't an art workshop. It was just kind of loosening up thing.
Yeah.
And a massive piece of paper on the floor with about 10 people around the edge. And we just started drawing anything just like this. And then after 2 minutes, we had to move round.
Oh, like sort of passing it around.
Yeah. Consequences, if you like. And you just had to draw near or over someone else's piece so that, you couldn't be precious about it.
So that could be a fun kind of lockdown game in your house.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you live with someone.
Would you remember that old-fashioned consequences game?
Where you write a line of a story each?
No, you have a piece of paper, you draw a head.
Oh,
no, you draw a hat, you fold it over, you give it to the next person, they draw a face and so on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously got more of a game plan, hasn't it? But
I'm sure I heard that thing where you draw things one after the other like that. Isn't that actually something that some artists used to do? Like actual famous artists?
The consequences thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the surrealists used to try all kinds of things. And in fact, they were...
This is a hand.
According to some people, instigators of the whole idea of automatic drawing.
Yeah.
Which is all to do with just letting it flow, missing your brain out, if you like.
Yeah.
And just allowing what wants to come along. So we're using just anything you might find around the house, aren't we?
I'm Sharpies because I'm a musician. I have lots of Sharpies and colouring pens because I'm a grown woman.
Yeah. I'm just turning back the page on one that was more advanced. It's hardly a work of art, is it? But just because I worked on it previously doesn't mean I can't go again and see what happens when I start adding other stuff in there.
Mine has become a very strange self-portrait because this started to look like a hand. That thing I drew a shadow of, and I drew some eyes.
Those eyes again.
So I've added a microphone and a weird nose.
Yeah.
It needs
that's
some
the
hair.
whole point, I think. What you start to see things, if you do it often enough, that repeat and do... They are a kind of signature, aren't they?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've got anything recognisable in mine other than lots of angst. Angry marks, maybe.
Yeah.
I really like playing with texture.
Yeah.
And Tipex pens are quite cool for that too, just to going in over what you've done previously, if they work. Sorry folks, that doesn't work.
I like doing dots like this. I always enjoy that.
Yeah. Have you got water soluble pens there?
No, I've just got,
because that's quite
normal
fun
pens.
too. If you, you'll find that some pens you have around the house are water soluble, like biros quite often are. And if you start adding water to them, look, you can get all kinds of exciting things happening just to vary the line and the tone and so on.
So how would you decide when it's finished? Would you decide?
You don't need to, do you? It's just something you did then and there, and you may come back to. Mm-hmm. It's not meant to be a work of art, is it? It's not meant to be something that you're going to display in a gallery and proclaim to be.
Look at the art I did.
Yeah, it's just an expression, a personal workout then, if you like.
Yeah, art workout.
Which could lead to something. You know, I might discover, for instance, I quite like the way these marks are that I want to achieve in a particular piece I'm working on. Mm-hmm. I've moved on to this box, by the way, which is perhaps some materials
the more arty box
you might not have, but aren't exactly expensive. These are children's woody pencils, and the great thing about that is they're really, really bold.
Chunky pencil.
And they are water soluble.
Exciting times.
Really exciting stuff happening.
I think there's something about like just really bright colours that is definitely my vibe.
Yes,
just bold. I don't like a faint mark. I like something that's just like, Urgh.
Well, you've got to go with what your gut tells you want to do.
Yeah.
I quite often in doodling I tend to avoid colour because I start to my art training kicks in, and I thought, oh no, I can't put that next to that, and I really need to tone that down a bit to make it work better with that. And
I mean, you can definitely see from what I'm doing, it's like all the colours at once, which is
it becomes too much of a conscious process if I do that. So I try to limit it a bit. And I do love playing with, somehow when you're just playing with black and white, you can have fewer
it all automatically
potential distractions,
goes, doesn't it? You don't start thinking about like, oh, does that go with that?
Yeah.
What if someone were to be doing this and they start just looking at it and being like, oh, it's not very good? What would you say then? Well,
if it's not very good, why isn't it very good? Because you're judging yourself against something. Whereas that's not the object of the exercise, is it? No. The exercise is just to do. And the chances are, this happens to me all the time, I'll leave it and think, oh, that was rubbish. And then when I come back to it, I think, oh, do you know, I quite like that. I really like that bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'll go back in and try a bit more of that. And that's the key. That's the key for the next locked door. Mm-hmm.
It's like my... hang on, which way is the mic going? It's me.
The other thing you can do is perhaps be a little more radical. If you really think you're rubbish, how about getting some house paint?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people will have house paint at the moment as well. Everyone's been going to B&Q.
And an old credit card or shop card, and just think, I'm gonna cover up some of that. And see what happens if I just make it into something else. You could almost cover the whole thing up, and the first thing you would have achieved there is ignoring your voice that says, no, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. Yes, you can. You can do anything you like with this, can't you? Doesn't matter. Just keep telling yourself it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But then, having pushed it a bit, you'll discover that you found perhaps things that you hadn't explored before, like that thick paint, now gives you another kind of effect that you might not have discovered before.
So you mentioned doodling in the phone book before.
Yeah.
Do you think this would be good to do like while talking to someone on the phone? Like
Absolutely.
As a thing?
Definitely. Especially with those people you're on the phone to for a very long time.
Yeah.
I used to do it a lot when I was speaking to my mother, because we generally have the same conversation each time we spoke.
Yeah. So how do you feel when you're doing this sort of thing? That hand looks so weird.
I feel I've done a bit of exercise. You know how you've spent several days in the house and you haven't moved much, and you go out for a really nice walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice energized walk. Well, I feel more energized and I feel encouraged because I can see things I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not meant to be a finished thing, there are things I enjoy and give me ideas for where I might take it the next time.
Mm-hmm. I feel sort of semi-trance-like.
Yes. Well, it is meditative, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what other forms of meditation are there? If you're...
Like your standard meditation.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess like any sort of, like I find it with playing instruments sometimes as well, as long as you take the pressure off. You're not trying to like deliberately achieve something.
Yeah.
You can just enter this weird state for ages, can't you?
Well, an artist I know a couple of years ago was working on something which some of the people around him thought was slightly bizarre, and that was breath drawings.
That sounds fun.
Exactly what you might imagine it to be.
Yeah.
He was working with soft pastels, and I think he was getting into Tai Chi at the time. And he just decided, how does that translate as a kind of automatic drawing? So he would make the mark with the breath.
Yeah.
Sort of out.
Oh, right. I thought you were meant he would be like
and in.
blowing something onto the page.
No. So every mark he made he tried to make in tune with his breath.
Oh, right. Let's try it.
And I suppose the colours that he chose reflected with the kind of breathing he thought he was doing,
It's making me do it slower if I try and do it.
Well, it's quite useful to have different, maybe, words in your mind that describe movement or energy. So what would an angry mark be? What would a... Yes. You see, if you had more than felt pens, you might just choose a different tool for that angry mark too, mightn't you? I mean, I'd definitely go for the woody.
Yeah. Like a big old chunk of charcoal or something.
Yeah. But then something calmer, what would I choose? I might go for ink, if I can find my ink buddy.
Calm. Let's make a calm one.
Well, it's very black. It's not so nice. Something that flows better. Oh, that doesn't flow very well.
That's my calm one. It was very flowy.
And when you start to look at how different tools make different kinds of marks, then you'll appreciate more how those might apply in an intentional piece of artwork then.
Yeah.
You think, well, I've played around with that. And I think ink or watercolour might work better for that idea.
Yeah. Ooh, the light just went weird. Okay.
You just talk to that camera.
Which one?
Maybe lean in just a touch.
That one?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Can't we carry on?
I want to carry on. I'm quite mesmerised watching you do that. Well, maybe we'll go home. Maybe we'll just stay here and carry on doing this for like 10 hours. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you soon.
Yeah,
see you soon. If you have had a go at this, or if you just would like to ask Gigi some questions about art, get her advice on anything, there is going to be a Zoom that you can join. Look out for details of that in the description, and we'll see you there.